Coming to you from Annapolis, Maryland, home of the U.S. Naval Academy, the sailing capital of the world, home of the world's largest crab feast, and 4 signers of the Declaration of Independence. This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, a daily roundup of local news that you can use, including local sports, local events, local opinion, and local weather from DMV Weather. Now here's your host, publisher of Eye on Annapolis, John Frenaye.
Welcome to the last day of November 2017. This is John Frenaye. It is November 30th, 2017, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. After it was revealed yesterday that Matt Lauer was fired from NBC, the disgraced anchor released a non-apology statement. And he said, "There are no words to express my sorrow and regret for the pain I have caused others by words and actions. To the people I have hurt, I am truly sorry. As I am writing this, I realize the depth and the damage and disappointment I have left behind at home and at NBC. Some of what is being said about me is untrue or mischaracterized, but there is enough truth in these stories to make me feel embarrassed and ashamed. I regret that my shame is now shared by the people I cherish dearly. Repairing the damage will take a lot of time and soul-searching, and I am committed to beginning that effort. It is now my full-time job. The last 2 days have forced me to take a very hard look at my own troubling flaws. It has been humbling. I am blessed to be surrounded by the people I love. I thank them for their patience and grace." I think it might be a day late and $1 short, Matt. There was a little bit of a chase in Annapolis yesterday. Last evening at about 6:51, a male suspect entered a pharmacy in West Annapolis on Giddings Avenue, jumped over the counter, pushed a female employee, and demanded drugs. A second suspect entered, pointed a gun at a second female employee, also demanding drugs. They took the money and the drugs and fled in a vehicle. Officers located the suspect's vehicle very quickly. It was unoccupied in the 1300 block of Bluegrass Way in Gambrills. After a K-9 search was called in to assist, they located and arrested Arthur Prince, 19 of Laurel, who was charged with armed robbery and 8 other criminal charges. He is being held without bond at the Jennifer Road Detention Center. The other suspect is still at large, and hopefully Arthur Prince will snitch. Speaking of crime, police say they are closing in on a suspect in the killing of a 17-year-old in Eastport last week. At the Eastport Working Together meeting last night, Annapolis Police Chief Scott Baker said the detectives have a person of interest and are working with the FBI to close the case of Terry Bosley. Bosley was shot in the head on November 18th by someone he knew who was walking within a group of people down President Street. Baker didn't give any specifics, but he said, "What I will tell you is when you hear how this case broke, you'll be very surprised. What I'm going to encourage all of you to do is listen. When you're in the community, when you're in the store, just listen. Be the eavesdropper because you never know what you're going to hear." The rest of the evening was dedicated to officials saying how that the community needs to be part of the solution, they need to step up, and that the police cannot do it all on its own. It is a first step. The next Eastport Community Meeting is Tuesday, December 12th at the Eastport Community Center, and we do encourage everybody to attend. Sheriff Ron Bateman is in the news again, and this time it's for a Warrant Forgiveness Day. This Friday is the second Failure to Appear Forgiveness Program Day for all nonviolent offenders. So if you ever forgot to show up for a court date, if you just decided to blow it off or whatever, now is your chance. From 9 to 3 p.m. at Annapolis District Court, outstanding warrants will be erased and new court date sets. It's not getting rid of the crime that got you the warrant. It's just getting rid of the warrant that's out there for you failure to appear. Currently, there's 11,000 outstanding warrants, 70% of them which are failure to appear. The Capitol's reporting that Scott Travers, who was the campaign manager for Mayor-elect Gavin Buckley, will be jumping on the Stuart Pittman campaign effective Tuesday after Buckley is inaugurated as the city's mayor. Pittman is the only Democratic candidate currently to challenge County Executive Steve Shue in next year's race. Air Canada is adding service to Montreal from BWI. Air Canada will start offering flights to Montreal on May 17th. The year-round service will use a small 50-seat Bombardier aircraft. In other airport news, Montego Bay will be Spirit Airlines' second international route. Denver will also be a new domestic route served by the airline, and those changes go into effect March 22nd, so if you want to be crammed into a low-budget carrier to either a sunny climb or a ski destination, there you go. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan may be thumping his chest Forbes magazine has released the ranking of states that are good for business, and Maryland went up 4 spots to number 26. Virginia jumped 1 spot to number 5, and rounding out the top, North Carolina came in at number 1, with Texas, Utah, and Nebraska rounding out the top 5. Come on, Governor Hogan. North Carolina? Really? The bathroom bill? We've got to do better than that. And that's about it for the news on this Thursday, November 30th. Hang tight, stick with us. We've got George Young and DMV Weather coming right up.
This is Maryland. The weather can be nearly unpredictable. We've got George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis to sort it all out.
Hey everyone, this is George from DMV Weather. Here's your Annapolis forecast for Thursday, November 30th. After 3 straight days in the 60s across Anne Arundel County, it's time to get back to reality with more seasonal high temps in the 50s and even some upper 40s over the next several days. For today specifically, we forecasted a target high temp of 53 degrees for both downtown Annapolis and BWI Airport, as high pressure centered off to our northeast brings in a cooler flow of air from the northeast and even the east off of the Atlantic Ocean. Then later tonight into early Friday morning, we'll see a cold front move through the area from the west, which will help reinforce the cooler air in the Annapolis region. And while mainly dry across the area, we'll have near average temps for early December lasting into much of next week. Then we start to look for the potential of 2 things. 1, much colder air around the 5th through the 10th of December, along with 2, the possibility of some of that white stuff that falls from the sky this time of year. So stay tuned for updates on potential winter weather action in the coming week or 2 as things are about to get active in the eastern half of the United States. Okay, that's it for us today. Get our free weather app from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store by searching for DC MDVA Weather, and follow us 24/7, 365 on our website at dmvweather.com or on social media via Twitter or Facebook for all of the latest weather updates, forecasts, analyses, and weather content for the Annapolis region. This is George Young of DMV Weather with your Annapolis forecast. Remember, whatever the weather outside, have fun and be safe.
Hey there, this is John Fernay, and the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief is sponsored by, well, it could be you. Podcasting is a growing trend, and since launching on September 1st, we have more than 10,000 downloads of this podcast, plus thousands of listens on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. In addition to our Facebook page, All Annapolis, and our Twitter account, we distribute the Daily News Brief to Apple Podcasts, which used to be called iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and the TuneIn app that can be played on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. We focus on local news, local weather, local events, and local sports, including high school and college. So our audience is pretty tightly targeted to the greater Annapolis area. And if you own or manage a local business, you're a likely customer. Intrigued? Well, here's something to think about. Your company could be featured on this daily podcast for less than $20 a day. Interested? Shoot me an email and let's talk. My email address is john@eyeonannapolis.net, and that's EYEONANNAPOLIS, but you already knew that, .net. Let's get together and see what we can make happen.
Thanks for listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. If you like what you heard, make sure to tell your friends and colleagues about it. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find much more. Be sure to check out our other weekly podcast, The Maryland Crabs. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at noon. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.